the question that I get asked by my constituents in Etobicoke Centre more often than any question when it comes to your role as governor, which is when are interest rates coming down? As you know, and we've discussed at this committee before, folks are struggling for a range of reasons right now. Cost of living is high, housing prices are high, but there are a lot of folks who have mortgages that are either they're on a variable rate or they're on a fixed rate, and now they've had to renew at a much higher rate, and that's been very, very difficult for a lot of folks to bear, and some have had to move out of their homes. Some have had to make significant sacrifices to make those payments. So that's the underlying reason that I'm asking this question. So I'm wondering if you could do your best to share with me, and I will share your response with my constituents. When are interest rates coming down?
Well, I appreciate you sharing the concerns and the perspectives of your constituents. We also survey Canadians. We do hear directly from Canadians, and that is an important input into our monetary policy decisions. So at our last meeting a couple of weeks ago, we did discuss when it would be appropriate to reduce our policy interest rate. And as I outlined in the opening statement, we were certainly encouraged by the progress. We do see renewed downward momentum in underlying inflation. For a while, it had kind of stalled. We do see renewed downward momentum. And if you go back to what we said in January and March, we indicated then we were looking for further and sustained easing in underlying inflation. And what we concluded a couple of weeks ago was that we have seen further easing. What we're really looking for now is for assurance that that is sustained. So the message to Canadians is we are getting closer. We are seeing what we need to see. And we just need to be confident that it will be sustained. We're very conscious that we don't want to keep monetary policy this restrictive for longer than we have to. On the other hand, getting inflation down as much as we have has been a hard-fought battle, and we don't want to cut too early or too quickly and jeopardize that progress. So we are trying to balance those two risks. We're going to take our next decision, I think it's June 4th, and then we've got another one in July, another one in September. We take our decisions at the decision date based on the best available information we have at the time. So I'm not going to predict what we're going to do at each decision. We'll do our best for Canadians when we get there.
I appreciate that. Can you talk about, when you say you're looking for signs that inflation is sustainably coming down before lowering interest rates, can you talk about what kinds of things you're looking at? Like, what are the kinds of things that Canadians, like my constituents in Etobicoke Centre, should be looking at to believe that things are heading in the right direction or not heading in the right direction? Because ultimately, they want to see you lower rates.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And so the first point is headline inflation, CPI inflation, is probably going, from month to month, it will bounce around. It's the latest reading is 2.9%. It probably will stay pretty close to that, around 3% for the next several months, because we know global oil prices went up. We know gasoline prices have gone up. And that has a very immediate effect on CPI. What we're looking for is when you strip out that, we want to see our measures of core or underlying inflation continue to move down. And so, watch CPI trim, watch CPI median. Those are our two preferred measures of core. In practice, those are our preferred measures for core for good reason, but we also look, there are other measures of underlying inflation, CPIX food and energy, CPIX. We also look at, in our monetary policy report, you'll see there's regularly a chart of the proportion of CPI components rising faster than 3%. When inflation was 8%, that was as high as 80%. The latest reading is 38%. Normal is about 25%. So we're getting down. We're not quite normal yet, but we're getting there. So what we're looking for, inflation to come down, for it to be less broad-based. We will be trying to look through the volatile components in headline. So try to focus on what we're focused on is the underlying measures.